On May 20th of last year, a protest born from the internet manifested into a global statement of offense against the second largest religion in the world, Islam. This protest, bluntly named Draw Muhammad Day, was motivated against threats of violence from individuals claiming to be Muslim in response to satirical or offensive drawings of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Originally, while the protest was aimed towards extremists, most notably those who threatened the creators of the cartoon series South Park, the event quickly took a turn for the worst, espousing xenophobic paranoia rivaling the anti-Semitism of Nazi Germany. The cartoons and comments made in the event tended to characterize all 1.6 billion Muslims as being supporters of terrorism, backwardness, and anti-civilization. This eventually led Pakistan to ban Facebook and other media websites as a response to the overwhelming bigotry. Afterwards, promoters and contributors of the event saw this as a victory for free speech. Ironically, not understanding that offensively provoking more censorship in the Muslim world is hardly a victory. Said individuals, in hopes to continue their crusade for free speech, wished to revive the event again this year on the same day, their influence being such as the most recent violent protests in Afghanistan, which were a response to the burning of a Quran by extremist U.S. Christian pastor Terry Jones. While I have no doubt in my mind that there are individuals disturbed enough to kill because they are merely offended by others' actions, I question whether the simplistic interpretation of these events, which are being viewed as an Islamic problem against free speech, are really as such. Take for example the recently mentioned protests in Afghanistan, where already several people have been killed. News reports suggest that the violence was not actually caused by a burning of the Quran, but that very recently documented incidents of civilian casualties in the region had sparked the initial anger, with the burning simply adding insult to injury. When peaceful protests were organized, Taliban soldiers infiltrated and blended into the crowds so as to be able to fire on government and foreign officials. Violence ensued, which led to the deaths of not only said officials, but also protesters themselves. This hardly reflects the popular conception being spread that Islam simply has a problem with free speech and criticism. I would not be surprised if unmentioned factors also led up to the violence in the prior Danish cartoon protest of 2006. On a side note, one might be interested to know that the Hanafi school of legal jurisprudence in the Sharia, which is the leading school in Afghanistan, considers burning by fire to be an appropriate method of disposal for the Quran, something I think few have taken into consideration when criticizing those who seem to be offended by this single act. As a response to the revival of Draw Muhammad Day, I wish to infiltrate this protest myself, but not through violence, but understanding. I wish to promote Draw Muhammad Day based on the intellectual heritage of my ancestors from Al-Andalus, through one of the foundational principles that make up Islam, that there is no compulsion in religion. I wish to stand for free speech and freedom of expression by asking my fellow Muslims and non-Muslim friends to engage in this day by drawing a depiction of Muhammad through the use of calligraphy. Though Muslims throughout history have depicted the Prophet in various ways, the most unoffensive and doctrinally sound way to do so has always been through the use of calligraphy, seeing as it unifies the Prophet with the Quran and also abstains from false depictions of his image and possible idolatry. More importantly, however, I wish to stand in solidarity with those who have truly been fighting for freedom of speech and expression in the Muslim world today. Those who have suffered and died to free themselves from foreign occupiers and corrupt governments supported by the former. Those people in Tunisia, Egypt, Bahrain, Yemen, Libya, and all across the Arab nations. Those people who do not cry out Allahu Akbar because they are terrorist or extremist, but because they stand for something greater. While people rally to offend the Muslim world, ignorant of who Muslims are, what their religion stands for, and how they fight and die to secure theirs and the freedoms of others, I wish for us to rally in solidarity, so that when these people open their computers again, they glance not at pictures of disdain for who they are, but pictures of support and comfort, that they are not alone in this world. I wish to fight against those who have no understanding of what freedom of speech and expression actually mean, who instead of standing for it make a mockery of it and the lives of those suffered or lost in these recent revolutions. These people who have done more for free speech and expression than those confined in their decadence and lack of empathy, having the audacity to offend real heroes and defenders of humanity. In solidarity, I promote and encourage those to participate in Draw Muhammad Day by giving these people hope, and in the very least, freeing their hearts and minds from the bigotry facing them today. This is our revolution. We can use the weapon of speech through truth against those who use this weapon only to abuse their rights and harm others, rather than protect and advocate the privileges of their freedoms to the rest of the world. Though we are not heroes in the same light as those who fought and died, we in the very least can be there to share their tears. And this, I say, is what the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ would stand for and should represent in the eyes of all within this small world we call home.
Is worse than all the violence. Fear is such a weak emotion, that's why I despise it. We scared of almost everything, afraid to even tell the truth. So scared of what you think of me, I'm scared of even telling you. Sometimes I'm like the only person I feel safe to tell it to. I'm locked inside a cell in me, I know that there's a gel in you. Consider this your belling out, so take a breath and hell a few. My screams is finally getting free, my thoughts is finally yelling.